G'day guys, my name's Josh, you can call me Zhawoodle, and welcome back to 7 Days to Die, where I'm here to answer a question. The thing I get asked most, more often than anything else, either in YouTube comments or on Twitter or in forums or whatever, is usually from a newer player asking how do you build a decent horde base, and how do you survive the Blood Moon hordes. So I don't usually make just like out and out guides like that, like step by step A to B to C tutorials on how to specifically play the game, but I was looking about and like, I've made a fair whack of bases over the trip. I've tested the zombies in 7 days an awful lot. So you know what? Why not? Let's take a break from my regular episodic content and have a crack at making a proper tutorial on like a comprehensive guide, the ultimate guide on how to build horde bases and survive the Blood Moon horde. So the plan is I'm going to show you what tools you need, what materials you need, and like a couple of different base designs that you can knock up pretty easily. Nice and simple and effective designs to get you through the first few weeks of the game until you learn the mechanics and how it all works, and you can build yourself a giant castle or something. Whatever floats your boat later, but you got to understand how it works first. So step one of surviving 7 Days to Die and building yourself a kick-ass horde base is knowing what materials you're gonna need. Now for me personally, I normally build almost everything just out of regular concrete. You can go all the way up to steel blocks, which is like 10 steel bars per pop, which is heckin' bloody expensive. They're really strong and really good, but not for every application, because the zombies in this game have super powered sledgehammer hands. They will tear through the strongest of walls in the blink of an eye. So it's less about building just like a really strong wall they can't get through, and more about manipulating the zombies and getting them to run around that wall in a predictable fashion where you can kill them way easier. So concrete, in my opinion, is the way to go about it. But how you get those resources are in things like this. Now wood, super simple, grab a stone axe and take it to a tree or to these like firewood piles here. But cobblestone and concrete are the other like upgrade materials you need to get. Cobblestone comes in these blue pallets there, and concrete, one of the ingredients, the cement powder, comes in these other blue bags. These pallets are really good sources of materials. These like brick things as well give you stone, and then all you need to make concrete is some sand and a cement mixer. So you jump into there, concrete mix, start crafting that away. A cement mixer obviously is the hardest part of this thing to find. You can't find them in the world anymore, so either speccing into advanced engineering or just finding a schematic for one, I normally look for schematics if I'm being honest, is the way to get one of those. But you can often get lucky, and if you just search mounds of garbage, you'll often find just like scraps of concrete around the place. Grab what you can, get what you need. You're not going to have much in the early game, so save that for where you really need it, which I'll show you in a second. But that's how you get the resources. From here on out, I'm going to build in creative because making all this stuff as I go will take way too long. But that's how you get your resources in order. That's how you get yourself started. Yes, I know I am just kind of powering through this very quickly, but there's a lot of things I want to cover, and to be honest, I just normally talk this fast anyway. In fact, did I mention, so to make the concrete, you need sand, stones, and cement. Cement from the blue bag, stones from either the ground or those pallets, and the sand from anywhere in the desert biome. You can also turn stones into crushed sand in the cement mixer as well, so you can kind of balance it out that way. Those are the 3 important ingredients you need, but once you have a good supply of all of that, you're laughing and you're ready to get building. This spot here looks nice and lovely to me, and I'm gonna quickly make myself a bunch of just regular wooden frames. They're not expensive to make just out of wood. I'm gonna make like 150 of those, I think. I'll probably need some more, but 150 for now will be fine. So these are just like your regular ass building blocks for everything you want to build. If you hold shift and tap R, then it'll bring up this menu with all of the shapes that you can build from in the game. So really, the only limitation is whatever your imagination can conjure up. You've got aesthetic things in here, decorative things in here, structural things in here. The whole kit and or caboodle is there ready and waiting for you. But I think for now, I'm just gonna go regular blocks and just start whacking a couple down and just start building a bulk stock easy horde base to start off with. I'm gonna put just like a few down like that. There we go. So to upgrade these blocks, this is where like the materials come in, right? To upgrade these blocks, you can either use your stone axe, which you get right at the very start, takes 3 hits to upgrade that one, or if you get really lucky, you might find an iron hammer in a sink or something somewhere in a POI, so you can get that. That only takes 2 swings to upgrade, but when you get to the late game, you get yourself a nail gun, and it's 1 hit for upgrade. So the nail gun is clearly better, but that comes a bit later on. If you find yourself a hammer, hold on to it, because building with that is so much easier. So what I normally like to do is I just build everything out of wood to start with, so I can kind of get a grasp of what I'm building and where the weak spots are going to be and where I need to reinforce for some accidental zombie damage that might happen a little bit later on down the track. But one thing you do need to look out for is your structural integrity. Now you can figure it out from here, like it tells you the horizontal support and the mass of each block. So this block can hold 40, but it weighs 5, so you can only go 8 blocks out before it's going to collapse. But now in Alpha 20, we've got this new system where math isn't needed, which is very good for me, where you can see the block starts to change color the further along you go. So it's nice and white and clear then, starts getting a tinge of yellow there, more yellow, and when it gets to pink, if you place that block, it's all gonna collapse. So you can see before you ruin everything that things are about to go badly for you. Trust the colors, they'll save your life. So that's probably all of like the basic mechanics of the game covered, like how to get materials, how to choose blocks and what blocks you use, and then how to upgrade them with different materials. But the way you actually survive the game is not by what materials you have, but the design choices you make when you're building your horde base. And for the last couple of alphas, as you can kind of tell from all the bases in front of me, the last couple of alphas, the zombie AI has always been skewing towards one point of access. So they're super smart now. They will find that one little crack in your wall and all horde in, swarm into that point, because it's the point of weakness, and ignore everything else you've built. So if you build something really elaborate and really strong or whatever, they'll ignore all of that, find the one block in the back of the building you didn't upgrade, and break through there. So the best thing you can do is only give them one point to access you, like your bloody Leonidas at Thermopylae. Get them narrow, get them where you can see them, and kill them there. I hope I explained that properly. Again, I don't usually make like out-and-out tutorials like this, so this is a learning experience for the both of us. But that raised platform is kind of the essence of the killing corridor, which is the base that I came up with in like Alpha 17 way back when, and has kind of been just like the go-to OP, easy, efficient base for a long time now. And to make one of those is super simple. It all starts with just a stairway out the front. So build yourself a nice thick column. Doesn't have to be like proper stairs just yet. I'll go over that in a tick. But just like something like this, a way for the zombies to get up to. I normally go between like 4 and 6, maybe 7 blocks tall. The higher up you go, the more secure you are, basically. But it doesn't need to be too low to the ground, nor too high up. If you go like more than 20 blocks in the sky, the zombies won't path that far anyway. So keep it relatively simple, relatively normal. What's that? That's only 4 blocks up, so let's go 5, just because we can. It may look bigger than it needs to be, but trust me, it's worth it. So once you've got your big stairway like that, of whatever height you choose to build it, that's mostly down to like your own personal preference, or if you're building inside a building, what level the floor is going to be at. But I'm sure you can figure it out whatever looks right or feels right to you, just not so low that it traps the zombies. But once you have that built up, then all we're going to do now is build a little platform off the end here, a little corridor, which is where the name Killing Corridor comes from. There's a corridor for zombies, and that's where you kill them all the way along, and this is where those colors I was talking about come into play. So I can't build any further than that, or else I'll have a big collapse and waste all my materials. So instead, I'll look straight up at the last block. Also, you can't build down off the top there, because it's going to add extra weight and collapse anyway. So go right underneath, look up at that, then look straight at the ground, jump and place a block like that, and then build your column up like that. There you go. So it's supported to the ground. As long as it's connected to the ground, you have infinite structural stability. And just like that, we have the makings of a very easy and very effective base. You can fill all of this gap in the middle in if you really want to. I don't, because it's wasting a lot of resources for not a lot of gain. So I usually leave it open and just focus on making my supports nice and strong. But that there, that's the beginnings. So this is where those cobblestones and that concrete is going to come into play. The better materials you can upgrade to where you need it. So at the moment here, there's only a couple of blocks that are actually in the firing line of the zombies. Like these blocks in here, they're not going to get touched unless you have some really unfortunate like cop vomit experiences. So hopefully that doesn't happen to you. But for the most part, the only, like the biggest risk you have is this pylon here, because it's supporting everything up above, and this big block over here. So what you do, you got your cobblestone and you got your concrete. Not a lot of concrete, but we're going to use that only where we need it, not just everywhere, only where the zombies are going to be. So we're going to upgrade these just to cobblestone. Now I normally go at least 3 high on my reinforcements, just to really like hedge my bet to make sure no lucky zombie gets to the weak stuff. Go to cobblestone and then up to concrete. Now it uses 10 concrete per block, so I only have enough to do 25 more blocks after that, which seems a lot, but it's not that much, because after you've done a couple of them, you run out of resources very quickly. So now that we've upgraded the pillars, like the weak points of our base, all the way up to concrete, we're a bit safer than we were, because occasionally zombies just decide, instead of going after the player, they'll just destroy a building for a little while. They can shake off their addiction to brains for like 5 minutes and instead take after bad architecture. Because that's just what zombies do, apparently. So now it's concrete, it'll stand up to that beating until the zombie loses interest. Way better than just a splintery wood. But there's one more part that I haven't upgraded yet that, to be honest, I actually forget about quite a lot too. And that is underneath your pillars down there. That's just sand right now, which isn't particularly strong. In fact, it's very weak, and if a zombie decides to get down into the ground, or if there's an explosion or something, that will collapse an entire pillar on the dot. So what I normally do, now that I've already upgraded that, is chuck a couple of frames on either side, purely to give that some structural support, so like the weight isn't over nothing, because I'm about to go here and dig out the blocks underneath and replace them with concrete as well. Only need to go down like 2 blocks or so, but if I had done this before placing those frames on the side there, well, then this all would have collapsed and I'd be back to square one. Here we go, just wood, cobble, concrete, wood, cobble, concrete. I'm burning through all my concrete supplies already. Doesn't take long, I was telling ya. You, up to there and up to there. Now you can fill in this gap here with like dirt or sand or, actually I normally go, do I have the option to make it right now? Stone. No, I can't make destroyed stone. That's fine. What about just like dirt then? Yeah, I can make 1 block of dirt, craft you, whack you back in the hole so there's no way a zombie can half-ass his way down there and cause me problems. That's all done. I can take these back again, and that is just so much safer than it was a moment ago. Did I mention, by the way, at the very top of the video when I was explaining all the materials and things, that you can actually just make cobblestone rocks in your pockets? I don't think I did. You just need clay soil and small stones and you can whip up some cobblestone on the spot in your pockets. Don't even need a workbench. Though to be honest, I personally very rarely do that. I'm normally looking for like a working stiffs POI, because that one building, if you get a good one, will have a bunch of cobblestone pallets, a bunch of concrete pallets, and really everything you need in there to make your horde base right off the get-go. So you can do it if you need to, but I'm looking for pallets more often than not. Both pillars are upgraded and sunk down into the dirt as well, which means there's really only one more thing to upgrade with this, and that's the stairway at the front here. Now these big chunky boy stairs, the thick stairs with like 17 Cs, is totally usable in certain situations and actually has some benefits. So for example, if you have some zombies coming at you from directly in front, like that, they'll come on over and start jumping up, pogoing up the stairs, which actually takes them a fair bit of time. It slows them down, and occasionally they get a bit of a stagger going as well. Go on, one more. There you go, proud of you, Arlene. They can still make it up there, and that's fine. But the problem kind of arises when you get a few of them, get a couple of Arlenes out there, see how they charge around to where the stairs are rather than beating on the supports. But right there, where there's that bit of like a congestion bit, where they're all kind of trying to go onto the stairs, but they can't quite make it. She's got the jelly legs going on that I was talking about. Right there is a bit of a problem and something to be avoided, because 1 or 2 errant swings from the zombie fist, if they're not upgraded, might cause you some problems. So I'll get rid of all of them. Thank you, all the Arlenes. And instead, what I want to do is get my stairs blocks. Grab you and chuck you all the way up. This will stop them having to like jump up like that. It means they do get to the top a fair bit quicker, but it's just easier, and like if the zombies have less trouble getting up there, there's less chance of them causing you problems later on. So just chuck the stairs all the way up like that. But a last little sprinkle of fuck yeah that goes on the top of this is you gotta get the angular stairs. These ones here, the stair corner, what are they actually called? Actually, they're called stairs filled corner, and chuck them in like that on both sides like this. Now, I affectionately call these the pyramid stairs because it looks a bit like a pyramid, but it means you don't get the problem that you had before, where zombies charge over here and get stuck on this edge here. As you can see, I can just walk straight up to it and get popped up onto the stairs and make it so much easier for everyone. In that case, get a couple of Arlenes, come on please. That's gonna make their lives so much better. Out and around and up, no more jumping, no more staggering, no more nothing. Just straight on through, up to the top. When they're not faffing about at the bottom there. A much smoother entryway for the zombies means less problems later on. Now that we have a way for the zombies to path reliably to where I want them to be every time, even if they spawn behind me over that side, they'll still run past me out to the stairs and come up to here. It's why building in an elevated position is so important. But now that we have that and the zombies are always going to be here every time, ready for me to kill them, now I just need somewhere for me to stand that's nice and protected so I can kill the zombies as they get here. That just means building a slightly bigger platform on this side, just building out a little bit like that, just somewhere for me to stand. I'm not going to fall off accidentally. Now, there's nothing saying that you can't build these kind of things out of just solid blocks like this. You can do that if you want to, but there's not really any benefit to it. They're not any stronger, and all it does is make it super claustrophobic in your little bunker here. It means especially if you have a roof over the top like that, if you're standing in here, it's very small, it's very cramped and not a whole lot of fun, and you don't have a whole lot of room to move, especially if you're playing with a friend as well. So what I normally try and, those are going yellow. I might need to put in an extra support down the bottom down here, give it some extra love down to the ground so I can build whatever I need to up the top. But what I normally do, just give myself a bit more breathing room and make it a bit more comfortable, is get myself these half blocks, like a cube half corner, just on the corner there, and then on the same side over there, and match those up with a half block. Hold R to get your different rotation options, advanced rotation, and stick it up on the side away from me, just like that on that side. Do the same over there. You can tap R to go back through the rotation, or left click to go forward through the rotation, like that, and like that. Look at that. That's so much nicer, so much easier. Just a bit more breathing room while you're fighting a horde. So I've just gone to add a bit more onto that pillar down below, make it as thick as the thick stairs were before. So double pillared up 2 by 2, but I'm actually running out of concrete now. And it's something that I should be paying attention to. I've got 56 of it left, so 5 more blocks. And I want to use that concrete up the top for the barrier between me and the zombies when the horde shows up. So I'm only going to upgrade these ones here to cobblestone with the intention of later on, if I find some more or make some more concrete, going back through and upgrading those, and that should be all good. And that will mean that all of my structural integrity up the top is nice and sorted out as well, because I kind of want to go out the back here and just turn all of this into a nice little room. Get the same blocks at the front here. If I hold up looking at that block, I can go copy shape. I can even copy the rotation if I need to, but I'd rather just whack it on the back here like that and like that. Got a nice little doorway at the back. This is where the zombies are going to be. It's all shaping up pretty nicely already for not a lot of work. Now, because I've already gone through all this effort to make this base as comfortable as possible while I'm fighting the horde, I'm going to go that little extra step. Now, this isn't super necessary to just flat out surviving a horde night, but I always say you should make your bases as aesthetic as possible. Make it a nice place to live, not just survive. So I'm using those, cube corner beveled blocks just to give it a bit more room inside. I'm going to do the same on the corners, actually. Get you and whack you upside down if I can. Once you start figuring out, like, what kind of style of base building you like doing, the world's your oyster. Although oysters are kind of gross. So whatever your delicious treat is, your world is that. Can go through like that. I'm going to get the same blocks over here, actually. Copy shape, advanced rotation again. Actually, kind of already there. You go there, and you go there, and look at that. So now I'm not like grazing my scalp along the roof up there. Got a bit more room above me, just much nicer. Before I fill in the roof, because that's actually kind of important for later on, I'm going to put in the main zombie barricade at the front. Now, there is a lot of different blocks you can use for this, so it's not so much gospel and more of like kind of personal preference. But for me, I still think the best block for doing this is actually, that's not how you spell plate, Josh. There you go, plates. Is it that one? No, there we go. The plate half off-centered, because it kind of ticks all the boxes and makes it very easy to fight the horde, because you can kind of see it's a little bit off the middle. In fact, if I go like that and swing you about and stick you like that, you can see that it's just a little bit north or south of the middle of that block. And that's very important because the zombies now can crawl through a 1 block high gap. So if you just make it a 1 block gap there with a regular plate or a pole or something like that, the zombies will just like crouch down and crawl through it and give you a really bad day. So for me, go like that one on the bottom, I think, and then swing you around. If I go advanced rotation to get you to kind of match up, because I want you to be like the inverse of the bottom ones like that. So there's never ever a full block in between, but you can reach through, you can shoot through, you can bonk through, do whatever you need to do, but it's going to keep dogs, it's going to keep crawlers, and it's going to keep all the zombies at bay where you're nice and safe. I just thought of a much easier way to place those blocks, a bit more of a foolproof way than just going through the advanced rotation until it kind of looks right, because if you don't know what looks right, you know what you're looking for. So if I go hold R, on face, and aim at either side of this, if I aim on this side, on that face there, the face that's facing me, click around till it's in the right place, you can see, if I just go through the ground a little bit, you can see it's just up above those nails there. So I'm happy to go through. I can now copy that rotation and put you on that side. But if I go back to it, go back to on face and stick you against this wall, you can see that it's right smack dab on that nail line. So this is a little bit more off-centered than the one below it. Get you, go copy rotation again and stick you on that side. That looks good. That looks perfect. I can go over, I can go under, I can aim down at whatever's coming for me through here as well. I really think that those half plate offsets are the best option for a base like this. I actually really hate that that whole pillar is like butted up against the front of that bunker upstairs. Had my time again, I'd build it one block further back so it's actually in the middle of it, but again, aesthetics matter. That's what I was talking about. It makes my brain hurt a little bit, but it's not quite perfect on its symmetricality, but whatever. So these blocks here are your lifeblood. This is how you keep the zombies at bay so you can kill them, but they can't kill you. This is the important part. This and like the pathing, getting them up where they're reliable going to come from a certain way. This is how you survive in 7 days. It's like the most important ingredients for everything. So I'm going to upgrade these to be as strong as possible. Now I only have 56 concrete remaining, which sucks because I'm going to use all 40 of it to do these ones, and I don't have enough left to do these blocks up here, nor the blocks on the side. So I maybe should have been a bit more stringent in how I was using concrete before, but that there should be enough for the most part, as long as you turn the rest of this into cobblestone, I suppose, which is much, much easier to get your hands on, and then save the concrete you do have left to upgrade these and repair these as they take damage throughout the horde. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I was like, oh no, I've built those bloody half plate things the wrong way around again, because it's kind of blocking my window at the top to actually spot some zombies. I was like, oh, that's okay. I'll just fix that right quick. But I didn't really plan ahead very well, and I broke my entire base again. This is good. This is good, Josh. I'm glad you're this much of a galah when you're trying to teach people how not to be a galah. You know the whole, like, do as I say and not as I do? Can we just apply that to me, please? Because that was bang fucking average for me. God, how long have we played this game for now? How do I still do this? You know what? I'm not actually sure why that collapsed. Those bars in the middle aren't, like, integral to the structural stability of that thing. That shouldn't have collapsed like that. It's all supported by the sides, but look, I'll warn you now, occasionally 7 Days to Die just decides that it wants to collapse your buildings. There's not a lot you can do about it, but I did lose the concrete out of that, which sucks, so gonna have to make a whole lot more of you. What's gonna give me, like 37, 47? I'm gonna need a fair lot more of that. All right, let's go find some more stones, whack some more on, and craft up some more. It's just par for the course in 7 days. There we go, that's the rest of my concrete done. Grab yours, I've got 61 now, which is good. That's actually enough for 6 blocks, assuming I don't have any more rather unfortunate mistakes. Where am I going? Over that way. That's enough for 6 blocks to be concrete, which means those 4 bars in the main zombie opening can be concreted, and the 2 up the top as well, so they don't like stand on top of each other's shoulders and start beating through there as well, because they will go full World War Z spec and start making like a withering pile of zombies if you're not too careful. That's all good. Just quickly upgrade these ones again. So this time I've gone with the bottom layer being above the nails and the top layer being at the nails, so that should mean I can swing through most of the time at zombie head height. Annoyingly, 7 Days does have like a glancing blow mechanism where even if you're not quite aiming at it, it'll still hit the block in front of it anyway, which sucks most of the time, but something to take into consideration. There we go, we're back to where we were up to again, all cobblestone around the frame and concrete in the middle. But before I turn these blocks here into concrete, what I want to add, if I go into here again and go my ramp blocks, that one there, put the ramp, oh, my structural integrity is looking pretty bang average again, which is pretty interesting given that I did take the opportunity to put the pillar in the middle this time around. Why is it yellow? It shouldn't be. But that's right, I still got a little bit more weight to go before I'm in some serious trouble. So on face, put you there, there, and there, and there. Because I was talking about how the zombies will pile up on top of each other. So if you have just a flat surface on your base, they'll stand on top of one zombie's shoulders, get up, and then jump up onto the roof. But if you have something like this, when the next zombie comes through and tries to jump up, it's going to push them back like that. So they can't actually get up on top of the roof. Admittedly, normally I would build this another block further up again, so like not on top of that block there, but the block above. I'm trying to keep this simple as I can. So just like that, though, is going to keep your roof nice and safe and stop a zombie from showing up and tunneling down on top of you. So I figured out the problem I was having with that structural integrity. It's because I left the shaft in the middle of the base all wood at the top, so even though it was nice and strong down below, the top was wood, so it was doing all the calculations from that central wooden column. So to keep everything nice and safe, make the central shaft of your base into cobblestone. Make sure that shaft is as hard as possible to keep yourself as safe as possible. Just seems like a good idea, to be honest. But now I've got all that, and it's no longer about to collapse on me. You can see it's all nice and white and clear. So we can go here, turn you into cobble on both sides, but the middle one is going to be concrete. So now every block that's zombie facing is nice and hard and concreted. Everything else is okay as long as that bit's nice and strong. It's all about making sure your weakest link is the strongest block. With that done, it is now time to move onto the roof that at the moment is just a nice, gorgeous skylight, letting all that natural sunlight come in and give us our vitamin D. But in a horde night, if you don't know, you will have vultures show up. These big flapping pelicans that cruise around and come over to steal your lunch like they're a bloody bean juice drinking ibis. No fun at all. When you're over here, like focusing down here on all the zombies coming towards you, you don't want any magpies showing up and swooping around your noggin. So what you can do, this is one way to do it. It's not how I'll do it, but I'll show you how it's done anyway. What you can do is you can get these bars, turn on advanced rotation, and stick them up like that. And put them in like there. Now the bonus of this is it does actually keep you nice and drenched in sunlight. You can look up, you can get your tan, you can do all that kind of stuff. But also, if you have a bow and a bunch of arrows, say, and you do have one of those flapping rats come over and cause you some problems, those are crossbow bolts, weren't they? Arrow, that one there, give me those ones instead. You can just light it up through the grill and start firing. You can start picking them off like that, should you so desire. But to be perfectly honest, that involves me having to do stuff, and I am lazy as shit at the best of times. So instead of that, you can get some easy anti-vulture stuff going. If I just grab my half a block like you, flip you upside down so you match the rest of the roof, clog it up completely, because let's be honest, we'll all dwell in our gamer caves anyway. Who even needs bloody sunlight? And instead of actually fighting the pigeons ourselves, we can go and get ourselves some wood spikes. Now I need, what's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 by 4. That's more than I'm willing to make. Let's just go like 20 of them. Like that. Gonna take a 4 minutes to craft. But basically the spikes will kill the vulture on the spot. First hit every time. Super easily. It's out of mind, out of sight. A much better solution. There's no real secret to it. Just get your spikes and chuck them down on the top up here. Now these do actually carry weight though. They have a mass of 5, same as a wooden block. So make sure again you're paying attention to the color of the outline of the block. All the way up to there. Oh, I made 20. I didn't mean to make 20, but apparently I did. Chuck you there and put the last one in as I jump off the side. That actually adds an extra barrier too. If the zombies do happen to get lucky and get up there, they'll jump up and cop a spike to the face. Orientation of the spikes doesn't matter really at all, so just chuck them down however you feel like. But that means that when a vulture does show up in the horde, you'll hear it get stabbed and die, and you won't have to lift a finger. I know this does all look a little bit higgledy-piggledy at the moment, but I promise you it's okay, because even though it's a mishmash of different materials, all of the zombie-facing blocks are all nice and strong. That's why we're using our concrete nice and tactfully. The blocks at the back that are all wood don't really matter so much, because they're not on the front line, they're not in danger, so they don't have to be super strong, they can be nice and soft and squishy, if wood could actually be that. But either way, we're now up to our 1%. It's just the last couple of bits and bobs to make it really, really effective. And basically, I want to upgrade this bridge along here, make that all cobblestone as well. And also, like, the floor level of my bunker, that all needs to be cobblestone too. Because if this bridge breaks, it'll break the zombie AI, and then we're really cooked. They'll just target the pillar, collapse that, and you'll be donuted in no time. So making sure the bridge is nice and strong is a pretty important important thing. Also, the stairs need to be nice and cobblestoned as well. The beauty of cobblestone is it's so nice and cheap that, like, it'd only take 80 cobblestone to upgrade this entire bridge here. So, it doesn't take much to do and definitely well worth it. It was a bit more than 80 cobblestone in the end. It was 200, but that's okay. Still not all that many. That's like 2 pallets, 2 or 3 pallets out of a working stiffs. And you have all that you need out of that. Get you up and cobblestoned as well. And then, look at that. Look how good all that looks. Just like the cobblestone skin where you need it to be to keep everything nice and safe and secure. But now we've got that going. All we need now is an entryway. Now, you don't need to put anything super elaborate to keep the zombies out. Just gotta know how the zombies think a little bit. So all I'm gonna do is build a little bit of a platform out this way. This is why I wanted to upgrade that platform up to cobblestone so it had more horizontal support. And then on the end of that, we're just gonna get some ladders and whack you down like this. And just hang them 2 blocks up off the ground. Now, the zombies can climb ladders, but they can't jump to climb a ladder like you can with your young and sprightly and not decomposed legs. So, hang them like that, jump up, grab the bottom rung, and up we go. And we're in. I can use that, the zombies can't. And then just to make that even nice and better, I'm gonna make myself a couple of doors and whack them on the front here so no errant vultures or anything swoop in and cause us some problems. Just like that. Just like that, happy bloody days. Upgrade these to wood. I can leave those as just the frames though, pick them up if I need to, or upgrade them later if I so desire. But we're done. That's everything sorted out. It's ready to face a horde. I was just doing like final checks, just looking over this now. If I had more time again, I would build this ramp block 1 more block further up, so kind of on the same level as where the spikes are, just so that like zombies can get on top of each other and then get pushed back rather than stopping the initial climb. I know it doesn't seem like much, but it's just an extra layer of security. If I had more time again, I'll do it like that. And I'll also build it 1 block taller. It's only 4 blocks taller up to the bottom of the bridge here already. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 5 blocks tall. I'd build it 6 or maybe even 7 if I was doing it again. So something to keep in mind for that. But this should be okay, I think. Right, I'm going to chuck myself in here and get ready for the horde. Got my club ready to go so I can bonk some skulls through here. Yeah, no, let's do it. Here comes the first little horde now. Couple of rads and some bad news coming my way because I am max level, but look at that. Up they go, straight up the stairs, ignoring everything else and coming straight to me after my little bonk cave up here, which is working out lovely. See what I mean? I'm just using, what, a blunt twig at the moment to take on the horde. He can try and climb his friends. He can start crawling and do whatever he wants to, but he's not coming through. I'm nice and protected. I'm nice and safe. And I can just have my way with the zombies. With a gun, with a club, with a spade. Doesn't bloody matter. Although, that is like one of the downsides in using the like half plate offsets, is just the stupid glancing blows that I was talking about earlier. Just makes it so bloody hard and annoying to actually clip the top of their head. So, what you could do, or quickly just get rid of all of this crowd outside my doorstep. Thank you all for coming, I appreciate it, but I'm going to quickly get rid of this top block up here and instead just chuck a slightly different half plate in there. So half, but let's just go plate instead, find what I'm after if I could spell properly. Plate. Now, you got the regular halfer ones, and it's actually not really a bad idea. Wanted to match up with the silhouette of the walls on either side, but not get too much in the way. But just the regular half plate then. On face, flip you around. No, there we go, going like that. So I've still got a nice big open window at the top, but still too small for the zombies to crawl through. Chuck you in, upgrade you up to concrete. So the same design as before, the same materials as before, just a slightly different change on that one. Still can't get through, still can't do anything, but I've got a much bigger window to reach through. I probably should have done this to start off with. This, like making it taller, definitely do that instead. So as I said, it is all down to personal preference about what you want to do for your zombie barricade. There's 1,000 different options, but I like this one because it's nice and smooth and simple and fits in with the aesthetic of like the halfer blocks. But whatever you use, whatever floats your boat, whether it gathers your leather, use that. As long as you can reach through and bonk zombies and not get blocked by the glancing blows, then you're laughing. One other thing that I often do as well, it's not necessarily necessary, but it's kind of like something that I do because I'm a Muppet and will often get a little bit too excited, get too close, and get punched in the face by a zombie. I just like chucking out a couple of blocks, like a quarter block or something like that. What are you actually called? Yeah, just a quarter block, just so it's like there's a physical blocker there, so I know when I'm getting too close. If I stand behind that, then I can reach through and bonk the zombies with no real issue. But one last thing I just want to quickly showcase is zombie dogs. Now, they still run on the same AI as regular zombies, so obviously have the smaller hitbox, but they should just come up and get stopped like everybody else. which they do. All seems fine, and I can still more than easily reach through and give him a good old boop. There you are. I mean, the last design would have been easy because I had that bigger gap down below for me to hit their schnoz a little bit easier. But this still works perfectly. What a good design. I really love the Killing Corridor design. It's still really good. It's a great all-rounder horde base. Something for kind of like every occasion, one size fits all. But if you're not doing ranged at all and you're just doing melee, there is something else you can build that's purely designed for melee only that might work a little bit better. So for this one, we actually want to go 3 wide because we want to have like a central block that we can use. Whereas with that one, you've got like the double wide to ease with the zombie flow a little bit. So 3 wide, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That looks about right. Just eyeball that. So 3 by 7. And this isn't going to be anything particularly special. Not like that one with like a bridge or anything. This is more or less is going to be one solid block of material just to keep you nice and safe, but still elevating your position a bit. Put in those last couple of blocks. Now I've made this, what, 3 by 7 and it's 5 high. Jeez, 5 high looks very bloody tall, but that's what I've done. Now you are going to have to like get rid of one of the sides here. Like you gotta like kind of go down the side here, pick all these blocks back up again. Now you know what you want to do. So you can upgrade the blocks in the middle. You don't want the middle just to be soft wooden frames and the outside to be cobblestone. All of this though is going to be cobble. I'm not going to bother going up to concrete on this one. Cobble the whole way through because cobble's nice and cheap and actually pretty strong. It's a really good early building material. Now that we have our big pylon thing here built, I'm going to put on the front of it, I'm going to give this elephant a trunk, a nice little stairway all the way down to the ground. Now on that one, I put in the nice smooth stairs to make the zombies' lives a bit easier. But for this one, because this is only a single wide stairway, I'm going to leave it to be a big, thick, chunky boy like this. But I am going to put in a couple of the nice stairs at the bottom, just because I don't want them like getting stuck on the side and cause me dramas like that. So I'm gonna go like this, gonna go not in that one. Where are you? There we go, the corner stairs again. Put you there, 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 and there. So still a little bit of a pyramid down the bottom, but most of this, just as regular jumpy things, they jump up, they might stagger and fall off the edge, which is fine. But for this kind of design, I want to try and limit how quickly the zombies get to the top, which is why I want to have the big jumpy stairs. So remember how in that build, how I was talking about how I didn't want it to feel like it was claustrophobic? For something like this, it needs to feel claustrophobic. Nice and tight and small and snug, because you want to try and limit how much area the zombies have to move as much as possible. So I'm just building a little sheltered hallway up the top, up here. This design is actually called the Hatch Hallway. It's another one I came up with back in Alpha 17. In the Fists Only challenge, I think it was, I needed the base that would enable me to punch zombies, because I was doing Fists Only, so could only use my punching, need to be able to punch the zombies, but still keep myself safe. So yeah, back in Alpha 17, I came up with this design, and as yet, it's still been working really bloody well. But just make myself a nice little hollow, all the way along like that. So at the top here, I have a 2 block tall, 1 block wide little hallway here for me to sit inside of. Having it all being cobblestone is pretty yuck. I don't like the texture of cobblestone, especially when there's so much of it, but you can see just how simple that is. Yes, it's a bit more resource intensive than that one, but it's much more specialized, and because it is all cobblestone, which is easy to get, it shouldn't actually be that bad to make happen. So up the top here, I'll actually grab myself a cheeky door, grab you, craft that, get you out of the way, and chuck this in right at the end. This has the added bonus. I mean, you can get in from the front. You don't need a special entryway like that one, but you can jump out the back onto a bicycle or motorcycle or just ride off into the distance if things get really bad, which is actually super handy. Now, the key part of this, though, it's called a hatch hallway after all. So the key part of this are hatches. Wooden hatches will do, but they're actually pretty average. What you'll want is a bunch of iron hatches, which take 40 iron per pop. Again, not really that much if you know where to get it from. Either scrapping cans or whatever on raids will give you more than enough. But other than that one, let's see if I can find a little node out here. There's one right there. Other than that, if you look for these things, an iron node on the ground, don't need an especially high level of mining to get some material out of it, but just get some of your iron, enough to make a few of your hatches, and chuck them in. I'll show you in a second. So I counted it out. I need 6 hatches to get this to work properly. And what you want to do, on the bottom level, you want to put the hatches so they open up towards where the zombies are going to be. Annoyingly, like I really wish 7 Days had like an animation when you're placing things that showed how the hatch was going to be moving, but alas, it doesn't. So from in here, I know that that small little square in the top left is the top left of the hatch. That's actually going to open up towards me like that in that current orientation. So if I put you that way with the hatch in the top left, opens like that, and you can already kind of see how this is going to work. It's a barricade between me and the zombies outside. And all I'm going to do is copy that rotation like that and put them all along the floor just like that, because then if I open 2 of these and stand behind the second, I can reach even with my fist the zombies that are just outside. In fact, Arlene, could you come and do us a favor and prove the concept for me, please? Get over here if you wouldn't mind. There you are, just you and you alone. So they'll come over, they'll jump up these stairs. They should do. Oh, it's because I'm out of the base. Hold on, that was my bad. There we go. She's now running up the stairs. I'll open that in her face so she can't get through. Now she's just going to sit here and wail on that for a while, which is fine. And I can punch her daylights out as much as I bloody please, or get my club or my spear, which has even more reach as well. I can kill her with a bloody axe or a hammer if I want to. Doesn't matter. For melee, there's not much better than the hatch hallway. It's been working for days and it's still working fine. But there is one more thing you need to add. Now that the zombies can do that crawling thing where they crawl through 1 block gaps, if they get lucky, they might decide to crawl through here. Plus, zombie dogs will make it through there, dingoes will make it through there, wolves will make it through there. So it's not quite zombie proof just yet, but to fix that, super easy. All you need is your trusty plates all over again. Not that one, just a regular plate, please. And all we're gonna do is whack it up onto the top up like that. All the way along, it means that there's now not enough space there for the zombies to make it through. I can't do the last one because the door's in the way, that's fine. Not enough space for the zombies to make it through, but still more than enough room for me to get through. And that's the most important part. So I can come up here, run on in, close the doors behind me, make sure these are all nice and upgraded the cobblestone as well. So the zombies can't get in, but I can get in and I can reach out and touch them too. And there you have it. That's all there is to the hatch hallway. If you need a melee only base, that is the design you use. And obviously you upgrade that as time goes on. If you have bulk concrete, make it concrete. Do be wary that turning the hatches into like steel hatches. If the block in front of you is way too strong, they might find a different route. But until this alpha, that hasn't really been a problem because the only way for them to get on your level is to come up the stairs anyway. So that shouldn't be too much of a drama. My cookie run is a little bit of a horde against this just to make it work. But as long as you understand like the main mechanics of this, like how the zombies think and how they're going to come for you, you can build whatever you want to, experiment and build your own designs, because it's all going to work basically the same way. Here we go, here come all the zombies. I'm just sitting pretty on the top step, and once they get a little bit too close, just walk on back, open up 2 doors. Then when I get to the top, I can just start wailing on them and not really having any worries at all. Bonk you. Now, the really nice thing about this as well, ow, might take a little bit of a step back. ScoMo's got some serious reach over there. The really nice thing about this is if you do get them staggered like that, then they just kind of fall off the side and cause you no more problems anymore. So there's kind of like a self-zombie dispensing design that keeps you nice and safe and gets the floppy zombies out of the way for the next lot to come up and get dealt some serious violence again. It's working fine, it's working good. You can also just like quickly reach out and repair the hatches as you need to as well. So as long as you're on top of your repairs, not a lot can get to you. So the other really nice thing about this base as well, that doesn't really come into play an awful lot, but it's kind of like an emergency thing. I forgot to put in any spikes and that's what those ramps for. I was talking about those ramps where they kind of get up on top of each other and might make it up onto the roof. That there is exactly what you're worried about. But if they were to break down that hatch, right? That would be a problem, but they then charge in, but because you're standing 2 hatches back, you just take a step back, you open the next hatch and keep on wailing, and now, I mean, if you have a Molotov or something, it's the perfect time. You can just sit here and wail on them for a little while. And look at that, even if they start crawling, they can't get through. The only thing I don't like here, and I have got a couple of oh jeez, alright buddy, calm down there. I have got a couple of punches in my chin because I've been trying to deal with it, is occasionally a zombie will start crawling and their head will glitch through the hatch down below, and you can't quite hit them because of that really annoying glancing blow mechanic I was talking about earlier. So no, you stop. So she tried the call, but she can't fit through. Got punched in the head again. That's okay. As long as I'm on top of it, we're all right. See, like that. See how her head's clipping through? Oh, the only way to deal with that is to drop the hatch between them. That's now gone. It's the only problem I have with it, and it's more to do with 7 days being trash at hitboxes than anything else. But there you go, guys. I'm gonna have to leave this episode here. I hope that taught you some things or not. Tutorials aren't really in my like kind of wheelhouse. I'm more just about playing the game and, you know, commentating over the top of it. Sitting down and trying to give a lesson on 7 days, not as easy as you'd think it would be, but hopefully that explained everything you need to know for those two types of bases, whether it be melee or kind of an all-rounder like the Killing Corridor. Personally, I prefer something like the Killing Corridor, and in fact, if you build that in a POI, if you find like a nice solid stairwell that leads up to a floor or something, and kind of like cordon that off to deliberately make the zombies come for you from a certain way, but you have more control over the situation, works a treat every bloody time. So that is the ins and outs of how to build these things. I hope that helps. Go out there, live your first week, and hopefully survive through the first Blood Moon Horde. But you know what? If you don't, it's all part of the fun. Just respawn, try again, and you'll have mastered the apocalypse in no time. Well, I have to finish this episode off. And you know what? I've missed building bases. I might come back and do some more experiments and see what kind of fun bases we can build in another episode, because this episode is done. So thank you guys for watching. Most of all, thank you to the patrons of the Patreon who made this episode possible. If y'all liked it, make sure you hit the like button down below and subscribe to this channel. Follow me on Twitter. If I don't talk to you there first, I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one.